for my top 8 less lethal guns for home defense. Number 8. Taser Pulse. The Taser Pulse, like all taser weapons, is an effective, less lethal defensive tool designed to immobilize your average everyday bad guy for up to 30 seconds, giving you plenty of time to find your bearings. Whatever you do within those 30 seconds is up to you, but that's plenty of time to escape from someone who can cause you great bodily harm. Packing the same levels of knockdown power that is trusted by law enforcement, the Taser Pulse was specifically built with self-defense in mind and uses a classic and proven design. It gives the user the ability to completely override the bad guy's neurological system safely, with a shooting distance of up to 15 feet. But there is one major downside to the Taser Pulse. It only has one shot. This means that at best, the Taser Pulse should primarily be used as a deterrent. Since almost all criminals know how effective taser weapons can be in general, there's a pretty good chance they won't charge at you if they see you pointing one at them. It has an MSRP of $400, but the company has a safe escape program where they guarantee that if you leave them your Taser Pulse, they'll replace it free of charge if you fired it in self-defense. Number 7. Taser 7 CQ. As anyone who has shot a taser before, like all weapons known to man, it doesn't always work perfectly. There are times the darts would get caught, and there are times they would miss the target with the first shot. And in a home defense situation, this could result in the homeowner getting assaulted or worse, killed. What the company did was a redesign. They came up with a more effective cartridge design and better darts, which resulted in a greatly improved version of their already existing Taser Pulse. The Taser 7 CQ has the same capability as the original Taser Pulse to completely incapacitate the neurological system of an attacker with electricity, but its darts are more accurate, which makes the weapon more dependable for home defense. The Taser 7 CQ also comes with 2 shots, but it has one huge drawback. It has an exorbitant MSRP of $1,700. Even with the company's limited time promo price of $1,484, it still costs an arm and a leg. To me, it just doesn't make sense. If you really have to have 2 shots, just get 2 Taser Pulse units for $800. Problem solved. Number 6. Umarex HDR-68. The HDR-68 is my second most recommended air-powered less lethal pistol in this video. It's capable of generating 7.5 joules of energy using its 12-gram CO2 cartridge, enough to deter a bad guy, especially because it can be loaded with a few different types of 68 caliber ammo that include precision balls and pepper rounds. And because it is a handgun, it is easily maneuverable in a home environment. But I do have 2 minor nitpicks. One is it can only hold 5 rounds in the mag, while the 2 other handguns on this list can both hold 6. And 2, it can be a bit slower to reload because it doesn't use a box magazine. Despite those drawbacks though, the HDR-68 is still a viable option for home defense as it does have a quick pierce ability, which means it's ready at a moment's notice. It also has tactical features like a trigger safety, textured frame surfaces for a tighter grip, and Picatinny rails that run on the top strap and the bottom of the underlug for mounting accessories such as red dot sights, flashlights, and lasers. The Umarex HDR-68 revolver comes with 2 5-round mags and has an MSRP of $126, which doesn't include the price of the CO2 cartridges or the projectiles. Number 5. Pepperball TCP. Of all the less lethal options in this video, the Pepperball TCP has been on the market the longest, and it's not hard to see why. The TCP stands for Tactical Compact Pistol because that's what the Pepperball TCP is. It's a lightweight, low-profile pistol that can launch both standard round projectiles and the manufacturer's very own VXR projectiles with a longer effective range. The Pepperball TCP is a time-tested launcher with more than enough power to deter an attacker as it has a 6-round mag capacity. But there are 2 things about it I don't care for. 1. Whereas its competitors have a more modern quick pierce ability, because the Pepperball TCP is an older design, it doesn't have quick pierce ability. You'll have to screw a lever to the TCP's CO2 or N2 cartridge until it's pierced. 2. For a compact pistol, it's a little too bulky, which isn't a problem if you're purchasing it for home defense. If you're still interested, the company's all-weather ready-to-defend kit has an MSRP of $430 and contains the pistol, 2 6-round mags, 6 live self-defense projectiles, 6 inert projectiles for practice, 2 N2 all-weather cartridges, a carrying case, and cleaning equipment. Number 4. Burna SD. The SD in Burna SD stands for self-defense, as it is an improved successor of the Burna HD. HD meaning home defense. The SD version was reportedly a re-engineered version of the HD, which gives it better performance. These pistols are powered by compressed CO2 and will shoot 68 caliber kinetic and chemical irritant projectiles with more than enough power to deter a bad guy. It uses the same ammo as the Burum Mission 4 called kinetic projectiles, which are hard, solid plastic projectiles that do not break upon impact. Out of the Burna SD pistol, these projectiles can fly with velocities reaching up to 300 feet per second and will punch through car windows like nobody's business. It is capable of deterring a threat from up to 60 feet away. If you're looking to buy a Burna SD pistol, opt for the California and New York compliant kit. It has an MSRP of $400 and comes with a handgun, 2 5-round mags, 2 Burna 8-gram CO2 cylinders, 2 5-round tubes of kinetic projectiles, a 5-round tube of eco-kinetic projectiles, and some trinket I don't care for. But this California and New York compliant kit is still a better deal than the basic box. Number 3. Umarex 16 Joule HDX 68. The HDX or Home Defense Extreme comes in 68 caliber and in a variety of different energy ratings, but we're really only interested in 2 models, the 16 Joule and the 40 Joule. The HDX 68 has the aesthetics of a tactical pump-action shotgun as it uses a pistol grip with a skeletonized folding stock. A very long Picatinny rail runs on the entire length of the top of the receiver, which allows for the mounting and conventional iron sights, both fixed or flip-up sights, as well as a red dot. And there's also a short Picatinny rail that runs along the lower forend, which is typically the ideal position for mounting a tactical flashlight or even a laser. The HDX-68 has a high magazine capacity as it does have room for up to 16 rounds of ammo, which is about 9 to 11 rounds more than what any pump-action shotgun can hold. Ammo must be inserted through a port on the side of the HDX. In the typical pump-action shotgun, that port is where the spent case is ejected. But loading the HDX is easy, as it is assisted by an adapter that, when not in use, is hidden inside the grip. As far as features, the 16 Joule and the 40 Joule model both have the exact same features. The only real difference, besides the fact that the 16 Joule model obviously can't generate as much energy as the 40 Joule model is, it comes in a plain Jane black finish which looks boring, and it has an MSRP of $290, which makes it the more affordable of the two. Number 2. Burum Mission 4. If a CO2-powered, less lethal gun modeled after the AR-15 sounds appealing to you, then you might find the Burum Mission 4 an attractive option. It's capable of respectable firepower, is fully customizable, and has a 19-round mag capacity. There is one downside to the Burum Mission 4, which, depending on how desperately you need to purchase a less lethal weapon for home defense, may or may not be too big of a concern. It has a high MSRP of $900. I personally don't like that price. If you know what you're doing, you can build 2 Frankenstein AR-15 rifles chambered in 5.56 for the same amount. So this makes almost zero financial sense. It offers the second worst value out of all my less lethal recommendations in this video. But if you choose to buy a Burum Mission 4 anyway, you won't be disappointed with its reliability and build quality. Because of its AR-15 look, it is pretty intimidating and will be enough to deter a home invader who's intent on breaking into your home. It has an automatic firing mode and comes with 2 19-round mags and a tactical buttstock. As for firepower, the Burum Mission 4 uses an 88-gram CO2 canister that has enough CO2 to shoot 50 to 60 rounds of Burna's kinetic projectiles at a velocity of 325 feet per second. It generates up to 22 joules and has an effective range of about 50 meters. You do get 95 of those projectiles out of the box. Number 1. Umarex 40 Joule HDX 68. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the more powerful version of the HDX CO2 powered shotgun. It's also the most powerful, less lethal home defense option on my list. This version of the HDX 68 is able to generate an energy of 40 joules, and that's because of its energy source. To elaborate, the weaker 16 Joule version I talked about earlier can use a maximum of 2 12-gram CO2 cartridges that are placed into the tube inside the stock. A dual cartridge adapter allows for the use of 2 12-gram CO2 cartridges back-to-back at the same time. On the other hand, the HDX-68 40 Joule model uses an 88-gram CO2 canister which is screwed in the place of the dual 12-gram CO2 cartridge adapter. Because the 88-gram CO2 canister must be screwed in, the 40 joule model doesn't support the quick pierce feature that most Umarex CO2-powered guns have. But besides the difference in power source, finish, and MSRP, the HDX 40 joule model works the same as the 16 joule model. Both are like real pump-action shotguns with a pistol grip. Even the safety is borrowed directly from typical 12-gauge shotgun designs and consists of a small crossbolt located on the back of the trigger guard. The Umarex HDX 68 meets all the criteria for a less lethal home defense weapon. It has more than enough firepower, and it also has the look and feel of a pump-action shotgun. Even its forend, when pumped, makes the same intimidating sound as a pump-action shotgun. The MSRP is $400, which is $110 more expensive than the 16 joule model, but you do get what you pay for. And that's all I have for you in this video. There are other less lethal guns on the market besides the ones on this list. If you happen to own any of the ones we couldn't cover,